Welcome back to That's a Shame with Nick Alex. It's the 44th time I'm doing this. Hello, everybody. And by everybody, I mean group of people that means more to me than certain family members because you're helping my career take off. You're helping give my career meaning. And that's the thing I've wanted most in my life. And you're doing it, baby. You're really hooking it up. Also, another thing I've wanted in my life very badly since probably the day I started doing comedy, maybe even a little bit before that, because before I started doing stand-up, I would come in to the city, specifically the West Village. I would go to the Comedy Cellar and watch a show, or I'd go to another club in the village and watch a show to get my juices flowing, to see if I really wanted to do it. And since that day, I've always walked around the West Village being like, wow, living here in the Mecca of comedy could be the thing that I would love to do. And guess what? I'm doing it, baby. I'm in the new studio, which is just wherever I happen to be living at that time. And so I got a new apartment, which means I have a new studio, which means I just have a new, living room in which I film this thing. But lucky for me, my girl owns a lot of artwork that seems to contribute to making living rooms look like podcast studios. So here we go. I don't know if this will remain the background, but it's what it is now. And I think it's kind of nice. I don't got the blue, little thingies behind me right now. But, it could change. It could not. We'll see. We'll see what the feedback is from you guys. Not, most people just listen to it audioly. So I'm talking to a minor collection of people that I care about more than family members. Not all family members, but there's like 6 family members I really give a shit about, which I'm learning as I get older is just most people's families are in turmoil, absolute fucking chaos. Everybody's fighting with each other, and most people don't talk to at least one side of their family, called their fucking mom a bitch, so they don't, haven't talked to them since, 1972. And, maybe that's what happened with my family. Maybe I'm talking about somebody else's family. Who knows? Yeah, man. So I'm living I live in the West Village, bro. I'm not going to tell you exactly where, because if this thing, we are popping off and, you guys are getting in on the ground fucking floor. Well, we talked about this last podcast. We're on the first floor now. So I don't know if you're getting in now, you're still close to the ground, but you're not quite on the ground. Your feet aren't on the fucking pavement. But you could jump from where you're at and survive. So that's still a good place to be getting in on. But yeah, baby, I live in a place in the West Village where I can walk to most of my shows now. And that's just the level of convenience I admire and have pined for just in my comedy career. I started in Astoria is where I first moved. When I started I started in my goddamn parents' house, which was in Stony Brook. Fucking a trip door to door from my fucking parents' house. Mama and Papa Alex, to Penn Station, 2 hours door to door. Now, door to door to get to my home club, 6 minutes and 30 seconds. What? It only took, 6 years, but what a nice little linear progression in terms of convenience in doing stand-up. Has nothing to do with whether or not I'm, good at stand-up or getting better in that regard, which I am. But I can't believe it, man. So cool. And it's like, I didn't know how I would feel about it at first because our apartment where we were in Greenpoint was the nicest apartment I've ever lived in my life. We had 430 square feet of terrace. We had almost 900 square feet of apartment. Nobody had lived in that apartment before. Everything was brand new, untouched, brand new building built freshly for us. Some good appliances. All the corners of the walls touched the floor. And a lot of times when you live in these older apartments in the city, walls don't meet floors and mice get in and roaches get in and, whatever. We had, central kind of area. We didn't have radiators. We could control the heat. And I thought maybe moving to the West Village into an older building, downgrading from the space and the newness would really kind of upset me. But boy, was I wrong, and was my girl right. She's always, I just follow her lead, dude. That's all I do. And things seem to be working out. Ever since I met her, comedy's been going great. Followers are growing. I got a podcast that's popular. I am married to, I'm married. I'm married to a fucking chill ass chick who's got a great family that I think likes me. And I certainly like them. And now I'm here in the West Village, and I couldn't give a fuck less about not having outdoor space. It's a smaller apartment, no outdoor space, but I don't want the outdoor space because in Brooklyn, I wanted the outdoor space because outside of my apartment, there was nothing really to walk to and enjoy. Now I step outside and I'm like, this is the outdoor space I want. I don't want my own exclusive fucking terrace or patio to sit on alone and do, my push-ups and pull-ups and burpees and fucking handstands or whatever. I want to be on the streets of the fucking village. I mean, we ordered food because we've been unpacking all weekend. That's why the podcast is late. I'm fucking sorry. But if you, I hope you forgive me. And if you don't, that's a shame. But look, we were tired and we didn't want to cook last night. We were like, oh, what can we get for dinner? And it was pouring out. We were supposed to get a hurricane. We didn't get a hurricane, which I knew was going to happen. Everybody always, everything gets blown out of fucking proportion and people are getting evacuated from certain parts of the city because a hurricane's coming in. Of course, it didn't come. Shocker. But, I mean, it was raining hard and it wasn't, because everybody was in anticipation of a hurricane, certain stores weren't even opening. Uber and Caviar, delivery shit wasn't even happening. People were you couldn't do it. So you had to get food that was pickup, distance. And we went on our little fucking apps and we had 6 Michelin-starred restaurants that were, I'm not kidding, within a 90-second walk of where we are. And that's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. That's just unbelievable shit. That is a great way to live your life, and it's a way my highfalutin asses want to live my life for a long time. I want to be within walking distance of 90% of my gigs right now. I'm going to be hitting the road soon, which won't be a thing, but that's a totally different thing. And I'm happy to travel to those. But it takes, an hour train ride to New York City gigs that are, 8 to 10 minute spots that pay not a ton of money is not ideal. But when it's a fucking 6-minute walk, happy to do it. I mean, I'm always happy to do it, but it just improves it greatly and dramatically. And, there's never going to be a night anymore where I'm like, I don't really feel like going out. It's raining. The crowd will be light because, it's going to be a 45-minute drive. Nope. 5-minute, 6-minute walk, always going to be worth going to. So that'll be a nice addition to the comedy life. Yeah, man. So ton of good restaurants. The people are good. I mean, it's the hardest part about living here is that the women who walk around, I love my wife and I'm committed to her fully, but there's a lot of women who walk around this fucking neighborhood who are, they're attractive. They're the upper echelon of, look, it's no secret that the women in the city are attractive. And then if you want to pin down the portion of the city where they're most heavily populating, it's the WV. And it's the summer and they're wearing minimal clothing. And, I'm not saying I'm going to do anything. Of course, I'm not going to do anything, but it's just, it's the biology that is in men to, let's be real about it. We're supposed to be cavemen. We're animals. That's what we were originally, I think. That's what I believe in. And at a certain point, marriage and morals and those types of things, consent, weren't real. Tigers don't give consent. Monkeys don't give consent. You see a female monkey a monkey sees a female monkey that he likes and he's like, that's the fucking one I need to mate with. And, the biology kicks in when you're walking around the West Village and I obviously have control of myself, but then it's just, things get pent up and then there needs to be a release, which I have access to. So it's going to be all right, but I'm just letting you know. It's one of the things I've noticed being here. You see a lot of nipples with studs going through them when you're walking your dog, trying to get him to take a dump. Right? And being excited while you're picking up your dog's shit, that's kind of a confusing emotional state to be in. But it's one I'm going to have to learn to deal with and navigate. And I will. And I want to thank you. Shout out to you guys for supporting. You know, you guys are following me on Instagram. You're interacting with my shit. You're liking my stuff. And I don't know who's sharing what and what's sharing who, but I put out an old sketch that I made a couple of years ago with a buddy about going back in time and killing Hitler. And, you know, if you haven't seen it, go to my page and watch it. And I'll let you know that it's worth watching because I got a DM from a certain super famous comedian telling me, bro, I mean, I'll read it to you. I'll tell you who the comic was if you want to know. A man by the name of Thomas Segura slid into my DMs. Bro, Baby Hitler Time Machine, super funny, exclamation point. I saw, first I was scrolling on my fucking little notification page. I saw Tom Segura followed me. I thought it was a fucking joke, like someone made a fake account. Went to him, 1.6 mil followers following me, for real. Almost had a panic attack. Then I went into my, I just hit refresh. Then I had a DM from him, almost had a stroke. And then I read it, and then I fully shit my pants. And then I showed my girl, and she helped me come up with a text that was appropriate to send to him. I came up with it mostly, but, you know, I ran it by her because I was fucking having a nervous breakdown. But that felt good. So thank you to whoever, if it was a bunch of you that sent it to him that made him, had to, you know, forced him to open up his fucking inbox and take a look at it. If it was just one specific person who listens to this podcast who has influence that I don't know about, thanks again to you. And shout out to the person. We didn't get many ratings and reviews between last episode and this episode, even though I'm begging you guys to help me hit 100 there. But I told you, if you write a review, I'm going to shout you out on this pod. So shout out to Will Brosha. I appreciate the 5-star review. Getting in on the ground floor is what he said, and that's what I say, and that's what we're all doing, baby. I mean, I'll give it to him. Because he left a rating and review, I won't make him reside in the first floor. That kid's on the fucking ground floor. I put an extension on the ground floor, gave him a corner fucking office because he left a goddamn review and mentioned getting in on the ground floor. So shout out to you, Will. You're a good guy. You're a good kid. But yeah, man, I'm waking up earlier. I'm just feeling good about life. I'm in the West Village and where I want to be. And it's just the ambiance of this apartment. And let me tell you, first of all, that old apartment I think was fucking haunted. Did I mention this on the podcast? My girl talks to mediums and she said, yeah, your shit was built on top of some sort of wheel burial ground. Also, the owner of your building has been doing really shady shit to get people out of their old buildings to knock them down and build their shit. So there's kind of got a weird hex on it. Also, my dog, Beans, which you know very well, has used to fucking shake and shiver for no goddamn reason because I think he was seeing ghosts. He would go into the bathroom and dig underneath the fucking toilet on the tile floor for like 20 minutes. And I don't know what he was doing under there. But then the medium said to put all the mirrors on the floor of our bedroom underneath our bed face down to redirect the energy. And my dog stopped shaking. And not completely, but for like a month, he stopped shaking. And then the ghost, I guess, found a way to navigate away from the mirrors. And then it started up again. And now we're out of there and the energy seems to be good. It seems to be fun. It's just, you know, it's good. It's kind of nice to be in an old apartment that's been lived in. You don't know what's happened in here, but you know things have. I mean, this building was built, I think we looked it up in like 1892 or some shit. So it's old. People have fucking died here most likely. Whether it was murder or just of natural causes, I don't know, but people have definitely died. Other people have fucked. Other people have, you know, done hard drugs in here. Who knows? But it's exciting. I'm recording a podcast in a room where someone may or may have not OD'd on coke. Because you know some shit was going down in the 70s here. In the fucking West Village. Maybe it was a crack then, dude, because the West Village was not always a good area. Right? Downtown, all of downtown used to be fucking shady and dicey, as we like to say here on the Deucershoom Podcast. But living here is making my dick wiggle, babe. And I mean, I can't even, it just feels good. I wish I could show you. I wish I could show it to you guys. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but, you know, that'd be weird if I just did like a fucking MTV Cribs. If I had way more fans, I'd do an MTV Crib style video and show you guys and let you fucking in on how I'm living. But you can see maybe half of, you know, what my living room, this half of my living room. and what we're working with, and it's cozy and it's nice, and every room has a different vibe to it, and I'm really into it. I'm a happy camper, man. And I appreciate you guys taking in, answering the poll on my Instagram about where you live. A lot of you guys are in Michigan, which I didn't know was, going to be a thing. And I'm going to try to come out there and do a show. But I also learned by doing that poll that I'm still a ways away from really fucking filling some seats up. So it feels good to be on the move and where I'm at, but we got a long way to go. So keep spreading the word. Did you guys see Pfizer fully FDA approved the vaccine? I can't believe the one that I decided to get ended up being the one that was fully, the first one to be fully approved. And that's the kind of thing that's been happening to me since I started dating Marielle. I'm just making the right decisions. Even though she got Moderna and I went Pfizer. And because I'm an idiot, I didn't even mean to go Pfizer. I meant to go Moderna because I asked my parents what they got because they both got the same thing and experienced zero to little side effects. And I was like, well, I got the same DNA as them. If they had zero side effects, I'll get the fucking one that they had. My mom told me I had Moderna for some reason. I went to the fucking place to get the shot and said, oh, my parents got Pfizer. Let me get Pfizer. Got it. Told my mom I got Pfizer. She's like, 20 minutes ago, I told you I got Moderna. Why the fuck did you get Pfizer? I'm like, oh, I'm retarded. So I got Pfizer on accident, ended up, by the grace of God, just an absolute, had a fucking, my brain shut down. Why? Maybe God was looking out for me. And I'm not saying, hopefully, I mean, if everybody starts dropping dead from Moderna, it's going to feel a lot like God wasn't looking out for me because that means my wife and my parents are going to die. But yeah, I got Pfizer and it's fully FDA approved. I don't know if that means anything, truly. FDA approves a bunch of shit that, kills people all the time. So who the fuck knows? So that eliminates an excuse that a lot of, anti-COVID vaccine people had in terms of just being, it's not even approved by the FDA. Now it is. Go and get it. Also, to me, the thing that kind of, if you're really against getting the vaccine, you thought it might affect your health negatively, or you thought, the government was trying to fucking thin out the herd and kill people. The moment that they made it mandatory for the entire military to get the vaccine was the moment where everybody should have just tapped down and be like, all right, I guess I'm getting it. Because if the vaccine is going to kill the people that get it and the government is just willingly wiping out, that's how you know the government isn't trying to kill us with the vaccine. Does it mean that they know what they're doing? No, because they don't usually know. But they wouldn't give it and mandate it, excuse me, for the military if they thought it was just going to wipe out our military and then we could just get, annihilated by China or the Taliban if, either of them decided to attack us. So as soon as they made it mandatory for the military, everybody who was, worried about getting it should just go get it, because if all of our military and soldiers and whatever the fuck just die, you're going to die anyway when people come here to take over. You're not going to fucking survive. You kidding me? So just get it. And if we all die, we all die. But you're not going to survive without us having a fucking army. So that's what I thought and noticed and put together. But yeah, man, I watched another preseason game of the Giants football for no reason whatsoever. But I remember they were, first of all, how uncomfortable is 98% of any sort of broadcasting that goes on in... I've just been watching games on mute lately. The only people I can listen to talk over sports are the Mets, Keith Hernandez, the Mets broadcasters, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, Gary Cohen. Anybody, and I realize that's baseball, I'm talking about football, but even football, I can't, everybody sucks. It's just like the most awkward and uncomfortable small talk of all time. And they're delving into like the most personal aspects of people's life. It's really, as I get older, the weirder and weirder it gets for me, or the more I realize how weird it is. How fucking, it's just reality television for men. How in-depth and uncomfortably invested, like people, women and gay guys, I guess, are into like the fucking Kardashians in their lives is the same thing that men are doing with sports. You're listening to these broadcasters talk about, well, this fucking player, Kadarius Toney, his grandmother died 3 weeks ago from colon cancer and he cried for 90 days and 12 minutes. And he threatened to kill his brother over it, but he ended up not doing it. He got it together, and now he's on the field breaking people's ankles. It's like, I don't need to know all of that. I don't need to know that Rodarius Williams was born with an undescended testicle, and it's been an obstacle for him in his life. I don't need, just let me know how he played in college. Let me know how he's playing now. And just sit there in silence. What the broadcast booth should be is that they should just eliminate broadcasters, and what they should do is put a DJ in the booth. And instead of listening to any sort of people talk about their lives or players' lives, just have a guy dropping a good mix that goes along well with the fucking flow of the game. How about we do that? I think that's a brilliant fucking idea that I just came up with, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't need to know that Antonio Cromartie has 33 children with 42 different baby mamas. I don't need to know that information. And do you remember that? Do you remember Antonio Cromartie? That guy had fucking, obviously the numbers I just made up were incorrect, but let me see if I can get the right ones. Antonio Cromartie has 14 kids with 8 different women. That's what it was. I exaggerated a little bit, but that's what comedy is all about. 14 kids with 8 different women is just fucking wild. Wrap it up, Tonio. Maybe fucking exercise that pull-out method. That's crazy. 14 kids with 8 different women. And the dude was a defensive fucking star. But he was not good at defending against having too many kids with too many different women. I wonder if it's harder. Do you think it's harder for black people to pull out because they got those big peckers? They go, they're getting it. They're doing their thing. They're inside a woman, and then they're about to blow their load. And then when they go to pull out, they forget that they got 9 miles of dick to get out of there. And they misjudge the amount of time and how close they are to finishing versus how far away the tip of their pecker is from the exit of the vagina, and they go to pull out, but it's like a fucking magician's scarf, and it just keeps going and going and going, and that whole load just ends up staying in there. And that's why Antonio Cromartie has 14 kids with 8 different women, and Fetty Wap's rap career is over, I think, because he's got 20 kids with 20 women. Let's see what Fetty Wap's real number is. Fetty Wap has 6 children with 5 different women. Not Antonio Cromartie numbers, but he's fucking, he'd be an all-star in this league. 6 kids with 5 different women. That's just a comical life to lead, dude. I mean, first of all, 6 kids is fucking crazy. 14 is fucking... I feel like I was downplaying it. I feel like I exaggerated, and then that made it seem like what Antonio Cromartie did wasn't as intense because I said way higher numbers, but 14 fucking kids is absolutely ludicrous. And 6 is even a shitload. And 8 with 8 different women and 5 different women. I mean, that's fucking hilarious. Antonio Cromartie has more baby mothers than there are days in a week. That dude needs to see 2 mothers in a day to see them all in a week. That's fucking bananas. But yeah, maybe these black guys have a hard time pulling out because their peckers are too fucking big. And white guys are able to, manage the amount of children they have with different women because, white guys' dicks fall out of vaginas on accident. When white guys are banging, if you're watching white guy porn, I've never seen a black dick fall out of a vagina on accident in porn. I always see white guys, if they're at a certain angle, they'll be humping and they get to, they get too into it and aggressive, it'll slip out and they'll be like, oh shit, I got to get it back in there. Sorry, but a black dick, no. Boy, this is a graphic episode. I hope nobody's mothers are listening to this, including mine. I wonder when I'm going to have a kid and how many I'll end up having and what the fuck they're going to be like. Going to be so interesting. I wonder if I'd let my kid play football. I don't know. If he's as small as me, which he's probably going to be, I don't know if I could do it to him. So it's too fucking risky, man. I played football for 1 year in 8th grade. I cannot believe my parents let me do it because my mom is a hypochondriac who just thinks I'm going to die all the time. I cannot believe she let me play football when I weighed 83 pounds and I was going up against people who weighed 150 plus, just getting murked and laid out. I had 1 carry in a regular season game. And I thought I was gone, dude. I was fucking jump cutting and shit. I ran for I think it was like an 8-yard run. And I thought I was gone, dude. And I got caught behind, someone tackled me from behind and I did a face plant into the dirt. But I was fucking jump cutting and leaping over people. It was nice. It was a nice run. I wish I had that on film. I would love to go back and see that. How crazy I looked. And you probably couldn't even see. It just looked like floating pads probably running through a group of people. Couldn't even see my skeleton body. But yeah, man. I've only slipped one past the goalie once. I knocked a chick up one time, and that kid does not exist because she took care of that, and I had no say in it. But I mean, I would have had the same say if I did have a say. But what a crazy thing. Boy, how drastically different my life would have been if she wasn't so against being a mother. I'm not going to say her name. Good looking chick, though. The kid would have been good looking, I think. Also small as shit, though. She was fucking, 5'1", maybe. Small boobs and a big butt. That's the thing. Isn't this interesting? Have I talked about this? That I prefer big boobs. For sure. Love it over a big butt. Love big boobs over big butt. But if I had an option, if the option is, if it's big boobs and just like an okay butt, I'm going with that. But if one has to be 0 and the other and has to be, if one of them has to be 0, then I'm going no tits, big butt because a completely flat butt, a concave butt on a chick is just no go. If a chick's back just connects, if it's her fucking back, if there's no sort of change in direction between her back and her butt, it's just completely flat down. If her back connects to her thighs, that's an issue, and it's just an awkward look. And if a chick, it has like if her jeans are loose on her butt cheeks, can't handle that. You gotta have a tight pant. If a chick's butt doesn't hold her pants up, it's a tough look. And no tits doesn't really. It's not a bad look to have no tits. It's not an uncomfortable look. It's not an off-putting look. But if I could choose, if the butt could be solid, if one thing could just be solid and the other thing huge, then I'm going solid butt, big boobs. But if one has to be 0 and the other has to be big, then I'm going big butt, 0 boobs. Can't go 0 butt. Although you could build up your butt. You can get in the gym and you can squat, you do some fucking deadlifts and you really bang it out and work hard, but not a lot of people have the fortitude and the wherewithal to go to the gym and bang out heavy squats every day. But my girl is a little thick, so maybe if I do have a kid, it'll be like, and her brother's fucking jacked as shit. And I'm pretty sure their dad was a big guy when he was younger. So maybe my kid will get that genetic and he'll be like a short, stocky little fuck and we could throw him in there at fullback and he can run some people over. Or he could be like a goal line running back, Can't be a wide receivers. There's no fucking, chode-shaped wide receivers. You got to be tall, lanky in the NFL to be a wide receiver. Definitely not going to be a quarterback, not going to be able to see over the fucking line. But a fucking girthy running back could be something. He could hide behind the line and find that, a tight little seam to get into the end zone. That could be something. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know when it'll happen, if it'll happen. I mean, it's definitely going to happen. We're going to have kids. I just don't know. I don't know when. My girl's tracking her what is it? Fertility. So we've been banging on, days where she's not as fertile. I can, oh boy, this podcast is getting too graphic. But I mean, people talk about sex. I can talk about sex if I want. It's a sex-heavy episode. What are you going to fucking do, man? I'm also noticing that my girl is... That's a good thing about being married, man. You just keep learning and learning about the lady you're with. And it's like... And I just love being this deep into it. I can't even... Sometimes I'll see these chicks on the street in the West Village and I'm like, you're fucking hot, but I would hate to get to know you from 0. I would hate to get to know anybody ever again from fucking... Dude, I don't ever want to go on a first date again, man. And just have small talk over a beer and some like fried calamari. Ugh, what do you do for a living? No. I want to know. I want to know everything already. I know everything. Most things. You still learn a little bit, but, I'm learning that my girl's like a little bit bipolar, but not in the technical medicinal terms because the medicine seems to be orgasms. It's interesting. If we go a couple of days without having sex, she's on edge. If I sneeze, if we haven't had sex in like 3 days and I sneeze, she's like, what are you making fun of how I sneeze? I'm like, no, I sneezed for real. And then we'll go in the bedroom, rub one out. And she's like, I've never felt love like this before. I'm like, this, seems like an unhealthy relationship with orgasms. But I'm here to help and I'm willing to help. Because she's a pleasure to be around. All the time, most of the time. But the amount of pleasure to be around her is significantly higher when she's fresh off of a release. Also, a lot of women, I mean, it's almost cliched at this point. Every female, I'm not going to say every, but a lot of female comics. You go to a comedy show and a female comic gets on stage, I'd say there's a 92.5% chance they talk about men don't make women come. And I'm not saying they're wrong. It's, even women who aren't comics are talking about that shit. And I'm going to straight up be like, what the fuck are you guys doing, man? Fellas, what are you doing? When you make your girl come, you know how much easier they are to manipulate? Not even in like an evil way, man. Just like, the female orgasm is proven to have the same effect on a woman's brain as doing hard drugs. Okay? All I'm saying is if you were living at home with a heroin addict, you got to look at it like this. If you were living at home with a heroin addict and for moral and societal reasons, they could only get their heroin from you, you got a little bit of an upper hand in getting things done that you want done. It's almost not even manipulation. It's just you're providing a service for them and you can get rewarded for that service. It's a reasonable transaction that's being had. It's really not even about manipulation. It's about how fucking stupid guys are. You're not making your girl come. And it's a thing a lot of women are complaining about. Most of us, half of us, whoever, I'd say, I don't know what the percentage is, but the fact that there's even one, any of us are living at home, if you live with your girl, or are dating drug addicts who are going through withdrawal, you have the methadone, and most of us are deciding, I'd rather watch the game than deal with this rabid lunatic. Bro, get your eyes off the TV, put your hand on the clit, and solve the situation. Make it more... Dude, if your girl seems ticked off, annoyed that you're sitting on the couch on a Sunday watching a bunch of fucking football, pause the game. That's the beautiful thing about TV now. Fucking pause the game, man. Go into the bedroom, fucking make it happen, come back out and watch the game, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a fucking sandwich being made for you as you watch the Giants probably lose. This is great life advice. All right? Even if it's not your wife, even if it's a fucking casual dude, especially, I feel like the reward parallel, the less deep you are into the relationship, the greater the appreciation for the providing of the orgasm. Because if all these women are out there just not fucking coming from the dudes that they're with, or just been sleeping with casually, and then they come to you and you make it happen, they're going to be grateful as fuck. And if they know how to cook, you might get more than a sandwich. Maybe a little bit of veal ossobuco. So yeah, man, you're welcome for that fucking tidbit. I'm going to shout out the Patreon members real quick because that's a thing we do here. Shout out to Romeo Baraja. Shout out to you, man. That's a new Patreon member. I appreciate you coming on board. Shout out to Mike T, Kai, Melissa Pryor, Rebecca Lyon, Jamie, 143, Sebastian, Borland, Chris Manfredi, Steve Pesavane, Trevor Vacris. Oh, man, I love the shit out of you guys. And not just you guys, even just the fucking people who listen to this thing every week, man. But go on over to the Patreon, join. Patreon.com/NickAlexComedy. Go to my YouTube, subscribe. I think it's just Nick Alex on there. Follow my Instagram if you don't, Nick Alex Comedy. Yeah, man. Oh man, does this song make you feel? I was skimming through TikTok like I usually do at least once a day, and I came across this video, dude. This kid covering a song that's just not a cool song, but boy did it make me feel things inside of my body. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it made my dick wiggle, and it's not the coolest thing. It's not a cool song, but it just took me back to the youthful days that were high school. I want to say, I don't think it was junior high school. Let me see what year this song came out. 2005. Wow. You know what? No, what grade was that? What grade was I in 2005? It's 14. So that was probably junior high, man. And this is what I came across. This kid covering this song. And I just, felt like I was transported. I mean, this is what's so good about music, man. It's almost like time traveling. And this song made me feel like I fucking hopped in a time machine. I didn't kill Hitler, but I went back to 2005 and I'll explain how I felt. After I listen to the song, I'll explain exactly what I felt inside of my chest. Am I more than you bargained for? Yeah, I've been dying to tell you anything you want to hear, 'cause that's just who I am this week, lying in the grass next to the mausoleum. Did you guys bump this? I'm just a notch in your bedpost for you to see line in a song. Drop a heart, break a name. Always sleeping for the wrong team. I'm going down, down. Sugar, we're going down, sweet. Did you remember this song? This song makes me feel things inside of my butthole, and it's weird, but it's honest, dude. When I listen to the song, I feel like I'm sitting in the back of a beige Dodge Stratus that belonged to my buddy Steve. And we were on our way to see if the drive-through that, was like a 7-Eleven, but they had a drive-through portion of it, would sell us a Dutch underage, because they usually did, so that we could roll up a blunt. And it's not the kind of music that we listened to while we were high, but it's the kind of music that would be playing at Genji and Bavo's while we were high, at a house party, in a pool, playing beer pong, and, getting ready to, kind of pre-gaming for a different party later in the night. And the sun would be out and this song would be playing, and we'd be drinking at someone's house underage while their parents were in, I don't know, at a cousin's house for a barbecue. That's what this song reminds me of. And just listening to this kid cover it took me back, and I wanted to play it for you guys to let you know what I was doing when I was in 9th grade. But usually what we'd be listening to is some fucking Lil Wayne, for sure. We were all obsessed with Lil Wayne, and all we did was smoke blunts and bump Lil Wayne. We used to fucking bump. I mean, Sky's the Limit by Lil Wayne was our shit. And we would go to this place called The Hills. I have no idea if I talked about this or not. This is how this is why I need somebody to really, I need to hire somebody to let me know if I've talked about things or not before. But we used to go to this place called The Hills, which easily could have killed someone. It was basically just a small side road in a neighborhood that happened to be the hilliest place on fucking Long Island. Just up and down, and we would fucking whip in my buddy's Blazer and go up and down the hills. I definitely talked about this, and bump and just scream. We would hang our heads out the windows, and I would put, stand on the middle console because I was a tiny little boy, and fucking put, obviously this wasn't 9th grade. This was later on in when we had our driver's licenses. We were fucking whipping at 15. Or maybe, when did you get your fucking junior's license? At 16. So this song was still probably popular, but we didn't do it. We did with Lil Wayne anyway. And I would just be screaming the lyrics of Sky's the Limit with my head with my head out his fucking sunroof as we fucking sped, as we went 70 on a side road with stop signs where you should have been going 25. High as shit. All right, that's enough of that. But man, that song makes my dick wiggle. And not because it's a great fucking song, because it's nostalgia. Nostalgia is such an interesting thing. But yeah, man, that's it for episode number 44. I think please go on over to Apple and rate and review. It really means a lot. It's a nice little kind of palliative to my day. When I hit that website and I go to the reviews and I see it climbing, it relaxes. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go, baby. It's happening. It's moving well. It's nice. And I can just sit back and relax and feel good about things. So go on over there and help me, I don't smoke weed anymore. I can't do it. I just have panic attacks. I rarely drink. I drink a little bit. I've been drinking a little more later, and I'm finding some relaxation in that. But mainly what helps me relax, first I get a little bit of jolt, and then I can sit back and relax. It's a palliative. Do you guys use the word palliative in your life? That's what I'm saying right now. I feel like it's a perfect word to describe the way I feel when I see numbers slowly moving up, and you guys appreciate what I'm doing. So yeah, going over there, leave me a rating or a review. Don't leave a review. You don't have to leave a review. Just rate it real quick. But if you leave the review, you're getting shout out on the That's a Shame podcast. And really, what better thing could happen in your life? The equivalent to winning the lottery, right? Like a shitty scratch off, really. You know, it's not really. It's not the Mega Millions. Let's be honest here. It's like getting shout out on the That's a Shame podcast is like winning a fucking scratch off that rewarded you a little bit more money than you paid for the scratch off. And I'm not gonna fucking bullshit you guys here. That's what it's like. It's kind of cool. It's enjoyable. It's a little bit of a rush, a little bit of excitement, but it goes away pretty fucking quickly. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Truly love you. Spread the word. Keep tuning in. I don't know what else. Do other things that you think might help me out as well. Keep sending my shit to fucking comedians who are much bigger than me, and if they shared something, that's what I'm praying to God. I'm praying to God Tom Segura decides to share that fucking sketch, because that would really help things get going here. But I don't know if he's gonna, because the content of the sketch could be a little, dicey and subjective. Although the shit that dude shares is, I mean, I know that he does it behind a paywall, but he shares like videos on his podcast of people getting their dicks cut off. So although that's graphic and disturbing, it's not really, cancel worthy. And I don't think what I did was cancel worthy, but I could see how some fucking woke piece of shit could get upset by it. And if you get upset by it, not sorry, to be honest with you. If you get upset by it, you know what? That's a shame. And that's the episode. Love you guys. Take care. Stay safe.